One fighter you guys may not be aware of is Alden Coria. Alden Coria fights next week at UFC Houston, and he's taking on Luis Garul. And I want to break down Alden here because he is a fantastic prospect in the UFC Flyweight division. Not really spoken about enough. Kind of gone under the radar, supremely underrated. And I want to break him down a little bit more and kind of get the word out there that this is a fighter to look out for. So Alden Coria, before the UFC, came in on Fury FC, and there was a fight in particular that really stood out to me. It was the Paris Moran fight where Hunter Campbell, Sean Shelby were in attendance for that one, and they were all eyes were on Paris. They were there to watch Paris. They were expecting Paris to go out there, get a win against Alden, and essentially sign Paris to a contract. Alden, came in and spoiled the party, and he picked up a first round knockout where he looked great. He landed big shots and won the belt in that matchup too. And, that was the fight that really put him on the map to the UFC. And then obviously we saw in his last matchup, he came in on short notice and defeated a vet in Alessandro Costa and also finished him. But I want to speak about the skills here of Alden. If you go back, you watch the tape, you watch him in those Fury FC fights, you watch him in his UFC debut, to come in on short notice and finish a guy like Alessandro Costa, who, Steve Erceg couldn't finish, who's a vet, who's got multiple wins inside the UFC, and finish him like that on short notice, it was a spectacular performance. And the skill set that he showed in that matchup, the striking, the versatility in his game, the well-roundedness, he was able to switch stance, he was able to dance around the outside, land his shots. He was very, very accurate with his striking. Nearly a 60% significant strike accuracy, and was able to stuff takedowns. Did get taken down a little bit, which I don't mind, because what we did see out of Alden was, questions were answered. We saw he was active off bottom, he was threatening submissions, he got back to his feet, he reversed position, landed some ground and pound on his own, and he just seemed like a very well-rounded fighter. Now, a couple of things that I really like from Alden: he's 5'8", so he's above the average height for flyweight. He's long, he's rangy, he's got a longer reach. That's something we're going to see in his upcoming matchup against Luis Garul. He's a much taller opponent. He's longer, he's rangier. And he mixes up his weapons well. He's very, very good at using his reach. This is something that he did against Alessandro Costa, where he danced around on the outside. He was, smashing the low kicks. He was tapping him with a jab. It was, switching stances. And it was really, really accurate. He almost reminded me of like a Sean O'Malley, not in the sense of like, build-wise, but the way he was mixing it up. He was switching stances and he was predominantly landing the jab. This is something that we've seen out of Sean a lot lately, especially in the Song Yadong fight, where he switches stances a lot, and he's mainly landing and throwing the jab. And Alden was doing this perfectly in his debut. He was, switching from orthodox to southpaw, landing the jab very efficiently and very consistently, and showed good head movement, was feinting well, was moving on the outside. He just looked like a really well coordinated fighter, which is honestly hard to get nowadays in a lot of guys. Luis Garul, on the other hand, he's a guy who doesn't really look the par on the feet. He kind of looks like he's still trying to figure things out. A guy who came into MMA relatively late. But Alden, on the feet, it's night and day. On the feet, Alden, if you go watch that Alessandro Costa fight, he's just so good at moving on the outside. His lateral movement is perfect. He's got good head movement. His chin's always tucked. He doesn't, stand in the pocket and trade. He puts combinations together well. He rips to the body. He slams that low kick, which just essentially led to the finish in the Alessandro Costa fight anyway. He's got very good check right hook, similar to Malcolm Wellmaker's. He can fight in orthodox, he can fight in southpaw, and not to mention, this guy trains with Joshua Van. So he's got pretty much the greatest training partner that you could have in preparation for a flyweight bout, in preparation to fight at flyweight. He's getting rounds in with the current champion. And this guy came in on short notice and beat a tough vet in Alessandro Costa, who has multiple wins inside the UFC. I think the future's super bright for Alden. I wanted to get this video out here now. I want to kind of warn you guys and keep your guys' eyes peeled on the lookout for Alden, because man, I'm telling you now, this is, it's not often that you see a prospect, that I see a prospect and I see them on the feet and I think this guy's coordinated. He knows what he's doing. He's got very good boxing. He's not just a, jab overhand spammer. He doesn't fight like an idiot. He's got a very good jab. It's very efficient and consistent, and he can land it with high accuracy, and he can land it from orthodox or southpaw. He uses his range well. He uses his stronger attributes to his advantage, which you see a lot of fighters, throw fights in the bin because of that, because they're not, doing what they should do. Alden's a guy who, sticks to a certain game plan that is going to benefit him and, give him the highest chance of getting a win. And he does that very, very well. We saw that in the Alessandro fight. He was, keeping distance and remaining on the feet and not, engaging in the grappling, with pretty much giving Alessandro his only chance to victory. Was able to rack up them low kicks, did some calf damage, and then got the TKO due to strikes in round 3. His cardio looked tremendous. His, grappling looked great. He looked very well rounded. On the feet, he looked like a really good striker. And not to mention, this guy's only 28. So definitely keep your guys' eyes peeled on Alden. Very young fighter, very talented. 27, sorry. So 27 years young, 5'8" in the flyweight division. He's got great experience. He trains with the best flyweight in the world in Joshua Van. I mean, after Pantoja. Yeah, we'll get into that another time. But, I mean, keep your eyes out on Alden. I honestly think this guy's going to be ranked within the next 8 to 10 months. I think after he beats Luis Garul, they'll probably give him one more and then a ranked opponent, or maybe they'll give him a ranked opponent next, depends on how he looks. But I'm very, very high on Alden. I honestly think he's going to be in the top 10 in the next 12 to 18 months. I really do think he's that good. I mean, he ticks all the boxes for a prospect so far. Obviously, we need to see how he's going to perform against high-level competition. But, he ticked the cardio box on short notice. He ticked the wrestling and the grappling box. His defensive wrestling as well. And the striking is just tremendous. He's got such good striking. That's something I really want to tell you guys about. The striking on Alden Coria is so slick and so smooth. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by his performance next week. And then they'll start to learn his name and remember his name. So I'm going to be picking Alden Coria to win this matchup here. Potentially he's going to be our lock of the week. He may be our lock of the week for next week. If you are new, every single week I break down the full card. I give out my lock, underdog, and prop of the week. So far this week I am profitable. Not this week, this year I am profitable. We're 3 for 3 on our lock of the weeks. We're 1 for 3 on our underdog of the week and 2 for 3 on our prop of the weeks, and our props are at a minimum of plus money. If you want to get in on the action, subscribe, turn post notifications on. My full card breakdown and picks and bets will be posted in the following week. I've also just created a free Discord group. So the problem that I had was some of the underdogs I was picking, by the time I would get the video out there, people would be like, oh, the underdog switched, he's not even an underdog anymore, it's a pick'em, he's a favourite. So now I have that Discord group for that. So the Discord members will get notified when I see an underdog that I like, when I see an underdog that is potentially going to be underdog of the week, or I see an underdog that I do believe that the odds will potentially flip and end up changing. So I will notify all the group members prior to that and say, look guys, this guy might be our underdog of the week. I'm going to play him now. I like the value on his side. I'm expecting the odds to tighten, so I'm going to get on him now, and I suggest doing so. So that's pretty much the purpose of the group there. I'm going to post some bets in there. We can discuss some fights further. And yeah, just a little chat room and a way for you guys. So, we've had a couple of people complain about underdog of the weeks in the past, saying, the odds have flipped, whatever. So, that's pretty much the purpose for that. You'll find the link and the invite to that server in the description of this video. And thank you guys for watching.